Hello and welcome back to the A to Z English podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Sarah. We're thrilled to have you with us today. In our last episode, we explored how effective communication can elevate you into a leadership role. Today, we're diving into a topic that's equally crucial for success in any endeavor, especially when it comes to learning a language, and that's the power of consistency.
Absolutely, Sarah. Consistency is the magic ingredient that transforms effort into results. It's not about how much you do in one day, but about what you do every day. In language learning, consistency is what turns unfamiliar sounds into words, sentences, and eventually, fluent speech. In today's episode, we'll unpack why consistency is so powerful, how to incorporate it into your daily routine, and the incredible benefits you can reap from making it a habit. 1. The science behind consistency. How the brain learns. Let's start by exploring why consistency is so critical in language learning. The answer lies in how our brains process and store new information. When we learn something new, like a word in a foreign language, our brains create neural connections. These connections are like paths through a forest. The more we use them, the clearer and more defined they become.
Exactly, John. Imagine walking through a dense forest for the first time. There's no clear path, so it's slow going, but if you walk the same route every day, the path becomes clearer, easier to follow, and eventually, you can walk it without much effort. That's what happens in your brain when you consistently practice a new skill. You're carving out and reinforcing those neural pathways, making it easier to recall and use what you've learned.
And it's not just about repetition for its own sake. Consistency also allows your brain to transfer information from short-term memory to long-term memory. When you practice regularly, you're telling your brain that this information is important, so it stores it more securely. This is why cramming for an exam the night before doesn't work as well as studying a little bit every day. Your brain simply doesn't have enough time to create and reinforce those pathways.
Another fascinating aspect of consistency is how it relates to something called spaced repetition. This is a learning technique that involves reviewing information at increasing intervals. Research shows that spacing out your study sessions over time helps cement the information in your long-term memory. For example, if you learn a new word today, reviewing it tomorrow, then a few days later, and again a week later is much more effective than trying to memorize it all at once.
And this is where consistency comes in. By making language practice a regular part of your day, you're naturally engaging in spaced repetition. You're giving your brain the repeated exposure it needs to retain and recall the information. Over time, this leads to not just memorization, but true mastery of the language. 2. Building consistency. Practical tips for daily practice. Now that we've established why consistency is so important, let's talk about how you can build it into your daily routine. Consistency doesn't have to mean spending hours studying every day. In fact, the key to maintaining consistency is often to start small and integrate language practice into activities you're already doing.
That's right. One of the best ways to stay consistent is to make English practice a part of your daily life. This could mean listening to English podcasts or audiobooks while you're commuting, cooking, or exercising. You could also set aside a few minutes every morning to read an article or watch a short video in English. The goal is to find moments in your day where you can easily incorporate English practice without feeling like you're adding extra work.
Another effective strategy is to use microlearning. This involves breaking down your study sessions into small, manageable chunks. Instead of trying to tackle a whole chapter of a textbook in one sitting, focus on learning just a few new words or phrases each day. Apps like Anki, Memrise, or Duolingo are great for this because they're designed for short, frequent study sessions. Over time, these small efforts add up to significant progress.
And don't underestimate the power of habit stacking. This is a technique where you pair a new habit, like studying English, with an existing habit. For example, if you already have a habit of drinking coffee every morning, you could use that time to review flashcards or read a news article in English. By linking your new habit to something you already do regularly, it becomes easier to stick with it.
Consistency is also about creating an environment that supports your goals. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Change the language settings on your phone and social media accounts to English. Watch TV shows and movies in English, and try to think in English as you go about your day. The more you immerse yourself in the language, the more natural it will feel.
And let's not forget the importance of accountability. Whether it's finding a language partner, joining a study group, or simply telling a friend about your goals, having someone to check in with can make a big difference. When you know someone else is counting on you, it's easier to stay motivated and consistent.
Finally, set yourself achievable goals. Consistency doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It's about making steady progress over time. Set goals that challenge you, but are also realistic. For example, instead of saying, "I'm going to study for an hour every day," start with something more manageable, like 10 or 15 minutes. As you build the habit, you can gradually increase the time you spend. 3. Overcoming common obstacles to consistency. Of course, staying consistent isn't always easy. Life gets busy, and it's all too easy to let language learning slip down your list of priorities. But with a few strategies, you can overcome these obstacles and keep making progress.
One of the biggest challenges is finding the time to practice, especially if you have a busy schedule. My advice? Look for opportunities to practice English throughout your day, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time. For example, you could review vocabulary while waiting in line, listen to an English podcast during your commute, or even practice speaking to yourself as you go about your daily tasks.
Another common obstacle is staying motivated, especially when progress feels slow. This is where it's important to focus on the process, not just the outcome. Instead of thinking, "I need to become fluent in English," focus on the small, daily actions that will get you there. Celebrate your progress along the way, no matter how small it might seem. Did you learn a new word today? That's a win. Did you understand a sentence in a podcast that you wouldn't have understood a month ago? Another win. Recognizing these small victories can help keep you motivated and on track.
It's also important to mix things up to keep your practice sessions interesting. If you always do the same thing, it's easy to get bored and lose motivation. Try varying your activities. Watch movies, listen to music, read books, play language games, or even try writing a short story in English. The more diverse your practice, the more engaged you'll be.
And if you ever feel like you're not making progress, remember that language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. It's normal to have periods where you feel like you're not getting anywhere, but that doesn't mean you're not improving. Sometimes, progress happens in the background, and it might take a while before you notice the results. Trust the process and keep going.
Another helpful strategy is to visualize your success. Picture yourself having a conversation in English, understanding a movie without subtitles, or even traveling to an English-speaking country and confidently speaking with locals. Visualization can be a powerful motivator because it helps you connect with the future benefits of your efforts.
Finally, don't be afraid to take breaks when needed. Consistency doesn't mean you have to be perfect or never take a day off. If you're feeling burnt out, it's okay to take a short break to recharge. The key is to get back on track as soon as possible. Remember, it's the long-term effort that counts. 4. The long-term benefits of consistency. So, what can you expect to gain from all this consistent effort? The benefits of regular practice in language learning go far beyond just improving your English skills.
One of the biggest benefits is increased confidence. The more you use English, the more comfortable and confident you'll become in using it. This confidence can open up new opportunities, whether it's in your career, social life, or personal growth. Imagine being able to travel, work, or even live in an English-speaking country without feeling anxious about communicating. That kind of confidence comes from consistent practice.
Consistency also leads to a deeper understanding of the language. When you engage with English regularly, you start to pick up on the subtleties and nuances that you might miss with sporadic practice. This could be understanding the difference in tone between formal and informal language, catching idiomatic expressions in conversation, or even getting jokes and cultural references in English media. Over time, this deeper understanding can lead to more fluent and natural communication.
Another long-term benefit is the development of a growth mindset. When you make a habit of practicing consistently, you're training yourself to see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. This mindset not only helps you in language learning, but in all areas of life. It's the belief that with effort and persistence, you can improve and achieve your goals.
And let's not forget the cognitive benefits. Studies have shown that learning a second language can improve your memory, problem-solving skills, and even your ability to focus and multitask. These cognitive benefits can have a positive impact on your life, far beyond just learning English.
Finally, consistency helps you build resilience. The journey to fluency is filled with ups and downs, but by sticking with it, you learn to push through challenges and setbacks. This resilience can help you in other areas of your life as well, giving you the strength to keep going when things get tough. Conclusion. That wraps up today's extended episode on the power of consistency in language learning. Remember, it's not about making huge leaps overnight. It's about taking small, consistent steps that lead to big progress over time. Every time you practice, you're one step closer to fluency.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to keep pushing forward with your English learning. Consistency truly is your secret weapon. Use it to grow your English every day.
We're excited to see where your consistent efforts will take you. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and as always, keep growing your English. Remember, it's the small daily actions that lead to big results.
Until next time, keep those small steps going strong, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care and happy learning.